Well, hi, congratulations with the assessment. I was
Thank you.
so invested in it. I loved the dialogue, the everything when it comes to the facial expressions, not to mention. Can you talk to me about directing this cast and that focus, those camera work that was very focused on facial expressions.
So yeah, I think I talked with Alicia, Lizzie, and Himesh before the shoot, and we agreed, especially for Alicia's character, that we wanted to go into areas that she hasn't been before. So we were exploring more contemporary art things and how weird and unusual kids can be, and all of the back layer of her character. Same for Lizzie. She's very wild, and she went. I remember her telling me like hanging out at her place naked to feel like that wilderness and be like very on the human side. And I think the camera work, I most of the everything that is shot inside the house is with a static camera, a close-up very centered, very framed, or the dolly, not like handheld. So I wanted to feel like you are in a prison, in a cell, really in that frame of the house. And outside, everything is handheld. So there would be like a big contrast between how you feel inside and outside of the house.
You know what? You're touching one of the keys, the house. I feel like that was one of the a big character in the film.
Yeah, that was very important because it's a chamber piece. So yeah, and because also like the house is talking and behaving. It has the somehow like the voice of Aaryan's mother. It's like everything is linked in a certain way to maternity. And yeah, that was very important that we could feel for that house, that it would somehow feature a future that we haven't seen before, but that we can relate to at the same time emotionally. And also because I had like sequence shot, I wanted to control the whole space. So we inspired by the outside location, which was Tenerife. We decided with the production designer, Jan, to build the house, the interior of the house in studio, and but referring always to Tenerife and the fact that you have no trees in that world, so you don't have wood. Everything comes from the earth. There's like it's volcanic there, so we were using all of that for the house inside.
Now, tell me about the story. This assessment and control of being adequate to be a parent. Did you find a connection to this?
Yes, Stephen Woolley, the producer, he brought me the script very early on. I think it was one of the first steps that Neil and Dave, the writer, had done. They are a couple themselves, and they had that idea that was brilliant. And I could see talking to them how we could improve on the character side, and because it's a chamber piece, so that's so important, the relationship. And on my side, I was struggling to have kids, so I was going through a lot of meetings for IVF, adoption meetings. And then also, I think in a certain way, when you see where the world is going today with crazy states and rules, and I could feel that when I was going through IVF with doctors, but I can feel that more and more everywhere in the world we are going to more like authoritarian states, and all of that together, I could really feel a connection to that couple and how they could feel in that like absurd test.
Parenting is hard, and even just getting pregnant for many people, it's like a luxury too at the same time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And when you're into that struggle and that process, that thing of being a parent, that is so natural. When for me it was like 6 years of a test and like a lot of meetings and all that, and sometimes it feels absurd and you don't understand why it's not working. But also you ask yourself the question, why do I want to have kids? What's the real reason? Is it like a selfish reason? What do I want for their future? And I was grateful for that because when my daughter arrived and we finally got to get her, I really knew why I wanted her so much. And it does question when it comes naturally because it feels like you're educated in a way where you need to have kids. And I am not saying that every woman they should have a choice. And also, they should be able to question themselves about what it means to bring a human being on the earth. And yeah, and the whole aspect of that, and what we are responsible for that generation that is to come also.
Well, congratulations with your daughter.
Thank you.
I grew up seeing the struggle with my mother. She had a miscarriage before me. She had seven during while me growing up that I witnessed myself. So it's one of those things that you have to feel lucky once it comes.
Yeah, definitely. And also there's like talking with different women and opening up about the struggle that I had. I saw there's like so many different problems and heartbreaking stories into that. It's not like an easy thing to do, to be responsible for. And yeah, I wish that women could more talk about it.
Mhm. And one of my favorite scenes was the dinner scene and how it covers like what would you say is the right occasion to talk about population control, which is not something you would typically talk about when we're talking about being parents.
I thought that was very important because I think that either people think that they need to have kids and or that it's a struggle to have kids. Even though it was a struggle for me to have kids, I'm not thinking that women need to that we should control, and it raises like so many questions that we are not allowed to ask. We are into that process, and I think it's very important for like, okay, there's not enough room on the earth, and the ecological problem is like very important today. And so if we really want to keep having kids and not having like population control and live in a world like that, then maybe we should start to think another way of, like raising kids on this planet, because I think that both are not going to work together, and the responsibility we have about the planet and what we're doing for the next generation. Because right now it feels like a lot of people don't want to think about it, don't want to talk about the problems, and think it's gonna disappear, somehow. And so I'm not like giving a judgment of what we should or shouldn't do. I'm just saying we should talk about it and say, okay, it's there. We have a problem. How do we deal with that?
Exactly. Can you tell me about the scenes of portraying adult portraying a child? Uh, that was brilliantly done, and I mean, what a phenomenal actress to play that role.
Yeah, Alicia, yeah, she's amazing. And I think she brought so much creativity to that, because I think it's that part would be very easy to perform it in a caricature in a certain way, because people have in mind, oh, a kid is doing that with a dress and like we have stereotype in mind. But kids, they are much more free and creative than that, and they have a weird relationship to their body. And the fact that Alicia, she danced a lot. She did like dance academy until she was 19 or something like that. I think she's very at ease in her body, and also maybe the fact that she has kids, everything. And what I really liked talking with her is how she was thinking outside of the box to create a character with different age and that is not like on the nose, that is not something that you expect. And yeah, sometimes she doesn't know how to eat, and she's like a 2 or 3 years old, and sometimes she's like a mean teenager, and and yeah, that was like amazing to see her transform that way.
So I was impressed and kind of shocked with the ending of this film. I did not anticipate that. Did you guys do any changes to the end? Was it how
We
was your experience reading the end?
I think we worked a lot on the ending for many years because we worked on the script for 5 years. And it was very important to me that each of the character has its own ending. Sometimes it feels like the end is like just thrown away. Okay, and the end all end like that. Because also I didn't want to judge a certain choice. So I thought it was important to show you can choose that or that or that. Aaryan choose to have a family in a certain way. He's the only one who's gonna have maybe a family. Lizzie, we don't know. But he doesn't mind to have like a kind of AI family. Alicia, I think, yeah, her Virginia, her character has been through like so. She has been destroyed by that state in a certain way, and all that process that she has been through, and I think she cannot. Also, she's very old compared to Mia, so it's impossible for her to keep going in and I think Lizzie yeah, Mia, she chooses to be free in the end, and maybe she's gonna have it's a way to raise a family and have a kid, maybe not, but for her it's more important her freedom. And I thought that was very important for as a message, to not say maybe you need to do that or that, but that in the end she can breathe finally.
And I loved how you made the women so strong. Although they are victims of their own society, but they were still strong and still holding their head up.
That was very important to me, that they would be strong, very imperfect, sometimes mean, sometimes like very complex. But yeah, I worked that way on the three characters, like to have a lot of complexity and background, and to allow also the male character to be. Yeah, to be weak sometimes, but not never in a bad way, so to explore, yeah, so to be strong.
Well, you made them very human, which we're all human. So we can, a lot of us women can relate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time and congratulations with the assessment.